Is praying for the departed biblical? Well, hang with me a little bit. I'm going to give you an answer. And I think to many Protestants and non-denominational Christians, the answer would be no. Now, I'm not an expert on this, but it seems to me they believe someone dies, there's a particular judgment, they are sent to heaven or hell, and that's kind of a static situation there. Where you go, you stay. But here's what the Bible teaches on this. The Israelites were engaged in a battle, and this is where the quote starts. And the day following, Judas came with his company to take away the bodies of them that were slain, and to bury them with their kinsmen in the sepulchres of their fathers. And they found under the coats of the slain some of the donaries of the idols of Jamnia, which the law forbiddeth to the Jews, so that all plainly saw that was the cause they were slain. Then they blessed the just judgment of the Lord, who had discovered the things that were hidden. And so, betaking themselves to prayers, they besought him, that the sin which had been committed might be forgotten. But the most valiant Judas exhorted the people to keep themselves from sin, for as much as they saw before their eyes what had happened, because of the sins of those that were slain. And making a gathering, he sent 12,000 drachmas of silver to Jerusalem for sacrifice to be offered for the sins of the dead, thinking well and religiously concerning the resurrection. For if he had not hoped that they that were slain would rise again, it would have seemed superfluous and vain to pray for the dead. And because he considered that they who had fallen asleep with godliness had great grace laid up for them, it is therefore a holy and wholesome thought to pray for the dead, that they might be loosed from sins. And I'll give you a copy in the description down below. And I know what you're going to say. Hey, I've read the Bible, but I've never read that in the Bible. Well, you'd have to read 2 Maccabees chapter 12, verses 39 through 46. And I can guess your reaction. Hey, that book's not in the Bible. But consider this. Today, the books that make up the New Testament books in the Bible go back to the Third Council of Carthage in 397 AD. However, that same council also listed the Old Testament books of the Bible. In Canon 24, the council wrote, "Besides the canonical scriptures, nothing shall be read in church under the name of divine scriptures. Moreover, the canonical scriptures are these: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy," it goes on, and ends with Maccabees, 2 books. So, back in the very early church, 397 AD, the books of Maccabees were considered to be canonical. And this is something the church believed until we get up to the time of Martin Luther. And you can thank him if you do not know about these books. He took Maccabees and a few other of the books that the council listed and put them in a section between the Old and New Testaments called the Apocrypha. And this was in his translation of the Bible into German. And I always wondered about the hubris of Luther to go against 1,500 years of teaching in the church. These are things in the Bible. But he somehow says, no, I don't think they're good to read, but they're not canonical. So he decided for himself. Then the British Bible Society dropped the Apocrypha in the English language Bibles they printed. And they were the leading translator of Bibles and distributor of Bibles back in the 1800s and still today. Most Bibles today do not contain the Apocrypha. And just one thing to note, Hanukkah, the Jewish celebration that occurs in December around Christmas time, that would not exist if there was not the book of Maccabees. because that's where the stories of Hanukkah are told. So even the Jews accepted these books as fact. And to me, this is just so sad. So many people believe once you're dead, heaven, hell, nothing can be done. That's not what the church believed from the beginning, and not what the Orthodox Church believes today. Can we totally explain how our prayers for the departed affect those who have died? Basically, all we can say is God looks merciful on the prayers offered up for the departed. That's about all we can say. We're not saying, oh, they were in hell, now they're in heaven, anything like that. One way I like to look at it is more of a dynamic heaven, that you're constantly moving closer and closer to God during eternity. And since God is infinite, you can never get there, but you keep getting closer. So maybe the prayers from the departed help move them a little further along. Don't know. That's just a thought, not doctrine of the church. Please don't think that's what the church teaches. But if what I'm saying is true, and what the church has always taught, so many people don't accept that prayers for the departed have any effect. So I think about the millions, if not billions, of people that could have had prayers said for them. That because, starting with Luther, thinking he knew better than the church, now those people who have departed don't have the benefit of those prayers. And to me, it's very, very sad. So I hope this video gave you something to think about. And if you enjoyed it, do me a favor, a little subscribe button right down there. And thank you for watching, and have yourself a blessed day.